Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. I think we should pay some attention to what's going on in the world. And we should not just presuppose that we got our answer, because I'm sure there are many answers. And I say that because there are many things that's happening in the world. So many things happening in America. So many agendas being implemented. And so while you focus on one, something else is happening, and you're focusing on that, something else is happening. All kinds of agendas that's causing all kinds of confusion, because all of the agendas that are being broadcast are agendas that work for some and not the rest. And this is causing a complete mess. So we should think, ladies and gentlemen, before we just get all into it, that just might be a conspiracy going on. We think about, I heard a white guy on the soapbox the other day talking about, he hate to say it, but America needs a dictator. America needs a dictator. This guy is saying what America needs is somebody to stand up and do all the dirty things that they think America needs to have done, but they want to blame it on somebody else. So they bring the devil in and let the devil clean up their devilish mess by abusing other people. And then they can tell themselves that they've done something extraordinary. For instance, making sure now that a frozen embryo is a child, and they want to control what you do to that. Donors, healthcare providers can be punished depending upon what the rules and regulations are set before them to control and manipulate them. Isn't it amazing how they want to sit there and do that kind of stuff and claim that amount of power? And it's happening, my friends, when I say conspiracy, because a certain group of people want to make sure that they change things in America. And others are caught up in what they're interested in. So the things that's really going on, where people have been planted in positions of power to make sure that these type of abuses can be carried forward, are just blindsided. And it is a plan to be implemented. But here's the question. I ask you, what is the difference between someone who just decides that they want to beat you down, take you, control, and manipulate you and turn you into a slave, or where a group of people utilize the power of government to manipulate it, control it in such a way that they can do it and you can't stop them, and they can end up controlling and doing the same thing to you that just any old slave master can do to you, and they're doing it to you. I ask you, having been a slave or descendants from slaves, what would you do when someone tries to pull something like that on you? Well, that appears to be something that can easily be done today, because what's happening? You got every act, white people panicking, trying to change everything to a different way, a way that works for them and works against everybody else. You have to remember, this is nothing new. This is the way they acted when they stole people's land. This is the way they acted when they did actually beat down people and then beat them and turn them into slaves. This is how they act. There's nothing new. So the question is, what would you do? Now you might say that there are a lot of white people who are standing up against it. Yeah, there are many white people standing up against it. There were always many white people standing up against it. But what were they able to stop? Nothing. It went straight through. Taking in his land went straight through. Slavery, straight through. Second class citizen right now, straight through. And what they're planning to do don't mean nothing. It will go straight through. They say Trump is nothing special. That if Barack Obama had done any of these things that Trump has done, if he was living, he'd be walking around in chains. He would not be escorted by Secret Service and people of the higher order of secret protection in government. He would not be wheeled around like some people say, a rock star. And that's all they talk about from sun up to sundown. If he farts, every station will be talking about that fart. They'll find some way to approach that fart and give it all kinds of coverage. But you ask them, how many of them will tell you how important it is and how simple it is that we could have peace and prosperity on earth? How many will tell you that we should look for other people who talk about other things other than the farts, other than taking you and killing you? Yeah, they're reminding you every day. By the time this year is over, you would have accepted the fact that you're going to be martyred or just murdered. They don't tell you about the fact that you, the people, got the power to change things for education. We're talking about the debt of education. We can turn education around and make education completely free from its inception to its end. Absolutely free. We're talking about health care, the medication, big pharma, the price and costs like that. You, the people, got the power to have free health care, not just medicine, free health care from the womb to the tomb. Transportation, everything free. It has been designed in such a way that it's free. What do I mean when I say that? I mean that the resources have been given by a power that you can't see. I call it God. I don't know what you call it. You might just call it nature. And the bodies, the knowledge that is used to cause a manifestation of this stuff, we the people, those who of us, amongst us who will use it. Now, how do you do this in such a way that everybody can do it free? Everybody play a hand in the process of creating it. Everybody got a job. And be magnificently beautiful. Find a job that gives you your greatest joy. A job that gives you a nut. You just can't stop doing it. And everything you do is interconnected together. And you're making everything that you, the people, have determined is essential for your benefit. And you don't have to lie, you don't have to cheat, you don't have to steal, you don't have to have guns, you don't have to murder, you don't have to go into war, you don't have to do any of those things. Drop bombs, kill babies, you don't have to do any of those things. And you don't have to worry about trying to keep women from having abortions. You don't have to do any of that because it won't be necessary. Now, this is the kind of choice that America got. This is the kind of choice that the world has. But let me ask you something. When you turn on your television this morning and tomorrow morning, Morning Joe wasn't talking about that. The Midas Touch, they tell you about every little legal thing that's going on in this process, but they weren't talking about that. TNT. Nah. They're Young Turks, they found something else to talk about. ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, MSNBC, every station talked about the same old thing over and over and over again from morning to the next morning. Lawrence O'Donnell, Rachel Maddow, all these folks, I'm calling their name because I listen to them. I'm waiting to see if they can be progressive. I'm waiting to see if they can stand up beyond this rhetoric that they're giving us every day about coming back to what Biden is doing. Keeping on down that same old road, that same old pace, that same old step that allowed all this hatred and all this racism and all this bigotry to grow and create a place for Donald Trump and paving a road for him to stand up and try to take over this country. It ain't happening. Before this country is taken over by white folks and Donald Trump for a negative purpose, nature will whip this nation's butt and good. I know what I'm talking about. Okay. I mean, this is absolutely pathetic, ladies and gentlemen. But America, I used to think, would have no way they would put anybody like Donald Trump talking about running for office again. I had said that after all, must be a game. Because no one wants Trump. I mean, he's spoiled. He's rotten. He's despicable, and really a disgrace to the human race. And somebody say this is what we want to be our representative, or hoping that the rest of the nation say this is what we want, a skunk to be our president. Those that use Trump so, they do it, as I indicated, because they got a lot of evil, and they want to scapegoat it like it wasn't them. They can blame it on somebody else, which would be Donald Trump. Well, but I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, as I asked before, a government as a slave master or individual as a slave master, they are both wrong and both needs to be and must be defeated. America, we see what you're trying to do. You're not as smart as you think you are. Now, I say to you, nothing happened with Trump by accident. Whatever is happening is a scheme. I might not be able to put my finger on it just yet to the point that you can understand it with clarity, but I can bet you one thing and guarantee it ain't nothing that is happening by happenstance. This is planned. This is an agenda being put in effect, but they didn't know because they could not plan what the rest of us would do. They think they know. They said before we took up our tents and moved away and gave the land. They say before we let our families be split up, we were beaten, took all this thing, and became slaves. That's what they say we did before. And they are saying that we will do it again. But this time, my friend, we got righteousness on our side. What do I mean by that? We know what's happening. We know exactly what's happening. And we know the truth. We know how things should be. We know the way of having our needs, our wants, and our desires met whenever we want it. We know that. And we know the difference between the two. The one that brings life and the one that kills. You see, to me, all of that stuff out there about guns, that's Satan. All that stuff out there talking about killing, talking about threatening folks, all that stuff Trumpers people are doing. To me, that stuff that's puking out of the belly of hell. I don't care what church name you got on it. It's puking from the belly of hell. Have no idea what love is all about. But until next time.